Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS as well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Ainal. The title of this is Let's Denuclearize. Nah, homie. Right? And I titled that because Esau is at it again. Um, with his schemes, pretty much towards Russia trying to denuclearize them. But this was a scheme set up back in the day, right? And now these devils are, going into what America has done to them and seeing and figuring it out. This is Daniel 8 and 25. It says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And that's going into his policies, right? Things that he had prescribed and pre-written down. It says, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without end. And basically what's happening with that is they know that it was going to go to war with Russia. So they basically set up things where they can cripple Russia. This is Revelations 20 and 7. As you can see, the heading there, Satan, Greed, and Doom, talking about the white man, right? During the Renaissance period, isn't he was freed, but he was still doomed. He was on a tradition that's going to go into destruction. But he was free and loose to little season, right? He knew and laid out different plans to go to war with certain individuals. That's why you have Israel talking about, what was it, Afghanistan, Syria, and Iran, the whole plan, for greater Israel and the wars and all of that. These are wars that they laid out. So this is Revelation 20 and 7 says, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations, which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, which is Russia from the land of Russia, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Right, so they're going to be gathered together because it's going to be a war, and that war will be World War II. Ultimately, this is always their plan. I believe when Japan struck America, the president was saying, we're happy that they struck us because we would have do this a week later anyway to start a war because it was always in their plans. Right, so going back to where I was at, it says State Duma denounces plutonium disposition agreement between Russia and the United States. Okay, it says apart from the intergovernmental agreement reached between Moscow and Washington in 2000, ratified in 2011, the bill submitted by the cabinet proposes that all protocols associated with it be denounced too. So it was nothing to do with America and none of their schemes, none of their plans. Says Russian lawmakers voted at a plenary meeting to denounce the agreement with the United States on the disposition of weapons grade plutonium, which is no longer used for defense purposes. Apart from the intergovernmental agreement reached between Moscow and Washington in 2000 and ratified in 2011, the bill submitted by the cabinet proposes that all protocols associated with it be denounced too. The accompanying materials read that the U.S. side did not fulfill a single condition under the document. Moreover, the United States has taken more anti-Russian steps that radically changed the strategic balance that existed when the agreement was signed and posed additional threats to strategic security. Yeah, because it was for Russia's destruction and not for their destruction. We grab this one. Psalms 55 and 20, it says, he had put forth his hands against such as he had peace with him. He had broken his covenant. So, and if you look back in the videos and all that about Putin trying to come with NATO and all that, Putin's at peace with the devil. And now, they're seeing that he had broken his covenant and he basically was attacking them with his policies, right? And they're looking through that. He says the words of his mouth were smooth and butter, but war was in his heart. His words were soft and oil, yet ready drawn swords. So it's laws, right? And all that. So what's weapon grade plutonium? Weapon grade plutonium is plutonium that contains less than 7% plutonium and is predominantly okay, plutonium. It says as it is the most efficient isotope for initiating a nuclear chain reaction. So that's why I titled the video what I titled it. And so they're getting rid of those agreements between America and Moscow. And this is something used the most efficient for initiating a nuclear chain reaction. And America told them to don't use it. So that's pretty much what I had with that. This is Satan and his tricks. You know, thinking no one sees them, but obviously the weak is now standing strong. This is Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. It said, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Right, and that's exactly what's happening. The lies of America is being found out. People are looking at these things that America is doing. Even seeing that America didn't fulfill a single condition in the document. So they're getting ready, obviously, for Revelations 11 and 14. Eventually, will come down the line. Now that they have this petroleum back, and they're able to move freely with it. It says Revelations 11 and 14. The second war is past, and the third war coming quickly. So like I said, that's pretty much all I had. Lord willing, you edified from lesson. Shalom to the hopeful elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.